partner with you to create wealth, to come up with an idea. To come up with an idea. And if you can't know everybody, at least know 15 people. The last, I'm almost done. The other behavior, you got to be able to experiment. Because through experimentation, that's how you learn. We call it experiential learning. That means learning as you go. How many of you have businesses? Any of you have your own business? I see somebody pointing a hand. Young man, what's your business? I can't hear you.
Social network.
Oh, you have a social network business. Interesting. You know about social networking now because you have that business, and that business allows you to do what? Experience, not just the concept, but the actuality of the business enterprise. So you got to be able to experiment and have the kinds of experiences that are important. And last but not least, associational thinking. Associational thinking, I'd like to add another caveat to that. And I want, again, here's another word that I want you to buy from me and pick up from me while I'm here today. Transdisciplinary. Transdisciplinary. Transdisciplinary means that you are borrowing from all kinds of disciplines. In other words, just because you want to go to school and be a nurse, that doesn't stop you from being able to be proficient in English. Just because you want to become a writer doesn't mean that you should not know all there is to know about natural science. Just because you want to become a politician doesn't mean that you should not be aware of the world's global economic system and be able to be the kind of politician that will never allow anybody to outwit you, not one day, as it relates to the economy. You have to have a transdisciplinary mentality, associational network, and thinking. Excellence is an art form won by training and habitation. We are what we repeatedly do. Therefore, excellence is not an art. It is a habit. Excellence is an art form won by training and habitation. We are what we repeatedly do. Therefore, excellence is not an art. It is a habit. Make enterprise, entrepreneurship, knowledge capital, networking and social networking capital, innovation, and the understanding of associational thinking and transdisciplinary work, a major part of your habits. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.
See, one person. Anybody else? Social entrepreneurship. Well, first of all, let me tell you who an entrepreneur is, okay? I think you probably have a pretty good idea in terms of the programming that is taking place and getting all of the pieces in terms of how to set up a business from a legal standpoint of view and all of the leadership pieces that you need to have in place and all of the administrative pieces you need to have in place and the whole 9 yards. Probably even had some discussion about finances and other areas. But an entrepreneur is somebody who comes up with an idea and then they pursue it for the purpose of profit. You cannot be an entrepreneur for the purpose of being poor. That's not entrepreneurship, that's being crazy. Okay? So an entrepreneur is someone who comes up with an idea and they move on that idea for the sole purpose of profit. And what I have found is that in low wealth communities, the whole word of entrepreneurship and wealth creation and profit making are looked upon and frowned upon. And it's in these communities that whole idea should flourish more so than anywhere. So, an entrepreneur is someone who has an idea that pursue their dreams for the purpose of profit. Now, let's flip that whole bit about social entrepreneurship. Okay? So, I'm going to give you 3 definitions of social entrepreneurship, and I'm going to break down some real examples of that. And then I got a little exercise that I want you to do because I'm an interactive, experiential kind of guy. Okay? Because when you get back home, I want you to be able to tell your parents and your loved ones and your friends, do you know Grinnell had us doing that? All right? So, here's the first definition. Anyone who starts a nonprofit organization. Anyone who starts a nonprofit organization. Anyone. Anyone who starts a nonprofit organization. Anybody in here seen Good Times before? You remember Ned DeWino? Ned DeWino decided he was going to start a nonprofit organization. He would be a social entrepreneur. So anybody who starts a nonprofit organization. That is the first definition of social entrepreneurship. The second definition is a nonprofit organization starting for-profit earned income ventures. Again, nonprofit organizations starting for-profit earned income ventures. In other words, it's a nonprofit that starts a for-profit money-making venture. Okay? Yes, a nonprofit can branch off into a for-profit, a money-making venture. So that's the second definition. Yeah. Sure. Nonprofit organizations starting for-profit. Nonprofit organizations starting for-profit earned income ventures. The third one is business owners. Business owners who integrate social responsibility into their operations. Business owners who integrate social responsibility into their operations. Business owners who integrate social responsibility into their operations. Now somebody tell me the first one again. This young lady right here. What's the first one?
Anyone who starts a nonprofit organization.
Okay. Somebody tell me the second. This young man right here. He was getting scared that I was going to call on him. I didn't see him right, but I believe we got it. Don't you have it? Got it down? Okay. What's the third? Young lady right here.
Business owners who integrate social responsibility into their operations.
Okay, good. So, the first one is what? Again. Let me take you back. Anybody here watch the NBA? What's the name of the guy that's on the Los Angeles Clippers team that commercial that takes him back to when he was a kid? Who? Yeah, Blake Griffin. You know, Blake Griffin, they'll take him back in time when he was at an arcade or he was out on the basketball court. So let me take you back in time. Let me take you back to the year of 1999 and 2000. I'm going to take you to a community called Opelika, Alabama. Anybody here knows what Opelika, Alabama is located? Okay. Okay. Anybody here ever heard of Greater Peace Missionary Baptist Church? Okay. What you know about Greater Peace?
I went there like a couple times.
You went there. You not a member there?
No, I stayed to see Alabama.
You can still go to Greater Peace.
Oh, I did like 30 minutes.
Hey, look, the Lord's everywhere.
I go to see you.
Okay. I'm not going to try to steal you from your church. But if you decide, do know that the doors of the church are always open at Greater Peace, and Reverend Jones is there waiting on you. Okay. So, let me tell you a little something about Greater Peace Missionary Baptist Church. There was a parishioner in Greater Peace Missionary Baptist Church who happened to be teaching a nonprofit management course in the public administration program at Auburn University. And during that summer, that professor had what we call projects for his class. It was maybe 15 students in that professor's class, so he broke the class down into about four teams. One team was assigned to Greater Peace Missionary Baptist Church to work with the church leadership to look at starting a non-for-profit organization. But that non-for-profit organization is going to be a community development corporation. And then, that same professor, working with the pastor in that church and the leadership of that church, started the Greater Peace Community Development Corporation. Guess who that professor was? How did you know that? Who told you? So, the first major project was a $500,000 loan from the Federal Home Loan Bank in Atlanta, Georgia, to construct a child care facility. That child care facility provided educational opportunities for about 90+ kids and employment opportunities for 20 people. Is that not economic development? That Community Development Corporation also created a youth leadership program. Matter of fact, probably one of the better youth leadership programs in the entire state. The youth leadership program was such a great program that Lee County's leadership program was jealous of. I'm talking about the adult program. Then, that same Community Development Corporation has created a GED program. That same Community Development Corporation has built 48 affordable single-family homes called Jordan's Gate in Opelika. Some of the most beautiful single-family homes ever built in that community. Matter of fact, that Community Development Corporation won a congressional award in 2010. So you're talking about the officials from that nonprofit organization being flown to Washington, D.C. to go up to the nation's capital, to go to Congress and receive a national award. That nonprofit organization started a fatherhood initiative. In other words, to reconnect deadbeat dads with their families through the whole idea of entrepreneurship. That happened because someone had an idea about changing a community. So, that's example number one. Let's talk about, what's the second one? Say that again?
Nonprofit organization, not-for-profit urban.
Okay, I got you. I hear you. So, in 2011, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a certain former professor at Auburn University who started the Greater Peace Community Development Corporation met with the Chancellor of UW Colleges and Extension. This gentleman is in charge of 13 freshman sophomore campuses throughout the state of Wisconsin and is in charge of the entire corporate extension system for the state of Wisconsin. Just so happened in 2009, these two men met in the Hamilton Library in Hamilton, New York, when the Chancellor was president of Mooresville State College, 10 miles down the road from Colgate University, and yours truly was vice president and dean of the University at Colgate. We fell in love with each other over a bottle of barbecue sauce. He had operations at his campus, and he had a line of sauces that came out of that operation. One was called Roadkill. I used to baste my chicken in ribs and marinate it overnight with this Roadkill. And the next day when I got to put it on the grill, I killed it. But I wanted to give you the base of the relationship. So in 2011, when I left Colgate in January, I had no way of knowing that he was going to be in Wisconsin. And when he left Wisconsin in February, the next month of 2011, and moved to Madison, he had no way of knowing that I was going to be in Milwaukee. So in September of 2011, we met in his office. And after that 3-hour meeting, we had concocted an idea called the Faith-Based Economic Development Initiative. What he asked Grinnell to do through a consulting relationship, because I don't do free work. I don't care how much we are friends. Remember, I'm all about what? Business. Not business, business. Business. Okay. I don't want you all to think I'm stuffy. I know I'm old, but I'm not stuffy. Okay? I like to have fun. This is having fun for me. I went to, did I give it to you, man? Are we having fun back there? Okay. I'm just trying to keep up with you, that's all. Okay. Here we go. Faith-based economic development initiative is to be able to take the most prominent African-American churches in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And we're talking about churches that have millions of dollars in terms of income and budget. One of my churches has over 6,000 in terms of congregation. Several hundred people employed. I don't know how many programs they have. But to take these kinds of churches and to set them up in economic development corporations, not community development corporations like I did at Greater Peace and Opelika, but economic development corporations that will focus in on purely business models, business marketing, business intelligence, that would not be concerned about housing and GED programs and things like that, but we'd be concerned about what's the level of business activity in the community, what's the income level of people, how many people are creating businesses and allowing those businesses to create jobs and wealth. So we took a model like that and overlaid it on a couple of churches. So fast forward, tomorrow, one of my churches has a business plan to develop printed circuit boards. Does anyone in here know what a printed circuit board looks like? Do you anyone in here knows what a printed circuit board is utilized for? There you go. There's not a piece of anything that doesn't have a printed circuit board in it. Somebody has to do what? Produce it, right? Okay? When you get in your car, say, I know a couple of y'all rode around here in Bentleys and Mercedes. I saw them right there parked. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. Okay? All right? Yeah. I got a friend in Houston, Texas that I went to school with in Cleveland, Mississippi. I'm not kidding. The boy not only has one Rolls Royce, he has two. And he also has a Ferrari. Okay. Oh, and by the way, I forgot the Land Rover that's sitting in his garage as well. What does this man do? He's an entrepreneur. He has major contracts with HUD. Okay? He oversees several properties for HUD in over 24 states across the country. Somebody that I grew up with in Cleveland, Mississippi, that lived in the section of the town that was called Eastgate. The poorest section of town can come out of there. But guess what he got though? He has an education. Guess what else he has? He has an MBA. Remember what I said? Education and entrepreneurship are what? The greatest equalizers in a free market society. Okay? He ain't doing no drugs, because I know that's the first thing somebody talks about. No. Okay? One of the smartest young men I've ever met in my life. Okay? All he did was took his education, his ingenuity, and the training that he received in my little community, and he went on and made something of himself. Okay? These are things that you can do, and think about the lives that he's changing through all the work that he's doing. Getting back to the faith-based economic development initiative. I got a venture that's getting ready to create circuit boards. It's called the Destiny Electronic Design. And they are positioned tomorrow. And I'm not saying that I hate to be here right now, but I miss being there because they have a meeting with the governor's staff, the chief of staff in the state of Wisconsin, tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock in Madison. Now, how many black businesses, potential black businesses, do you know get a chance to go have a meeting with the chief of staff of the governor of a state for anything? Now, it doesn't hurt that the bishop of that church has a congregation of 6,000 people, and his brother also happens to be the top council member in the city of Milwaukee. But guess what? That's all about the networking. It's all about how you're positioned. Now, fast forward. My other church, this is why I have to leave when I leave here right now. I'll be back for my presentation later on, but I'm actually working on a presentation for my other church that is going to be in front of a group of investors out of California on Friday. They have a 15-minute presentation that they're going to make for these investors. And their business is called Taste of Soul Foods Innovation Kitchen. It's a light manufacturing food processing facility. Why am I sharing all of this with you? It is because both of these churches have non-for-profit organizations. Their non-profit organizations are now beginning to create these what? For-profit ventures. Okay? The Taste of Soul Foods Innovation Kitchen is basically this. How many of you in your family right now, your mamas and grandmamas, have fruit preserve recipes? Jellies and jams and that sort of thing. Yeah. Guess what? We're getting ready to go to the bank. How many of you have grandmamas and aunts and aunties that have what I call fruit, not fruit, but vegetable sauces, you know, for lasagna and spaghetti and soups and salad? That's all it is. How many of you folks have dry mix rubs? You can come on, Uncle Jim got that barbecue rub down to a science, right? Huh? So we're going to have that particular innovation kitchen. It's going to have 3 types of products. It's going to have fruit spreads, it's going to have vegetable sauces, and it's going to have dry mixes. But guess what? It's manufacturing because you do what? Make it. And it'll be made in America. Okay. One of the things that I want from my new soldiers, I want my new soldiers to be a part of the Made in America movement. How many of you in here know a manufacturer in your community? Manufacturing is nothing great. It just means that you make stuff. How many of you know manufacturers in your community? How many of you have ideas to make stuff? What's your idea?
My idea is representing my community because we have kids that they're zoning subdivision office.
Okay, but that's not a manufacturing idea.
Oh, I thought you were acting like an idea.
But I want you to hold that idea because that's going to be the next part of the workshop, okay? Charlie T's?
Yeah.
Now what is Charlie T's?
We make shirts, design shirts.
Does he sell those shirts in terms of mass distribution?
Yeah.
Okay, he can probably be considered as, okay. Well, that's a small manufacturing operation. Okay, how many people does he employ?
Oh, I think it's about a family business.
It's like a family business. Okay. So, in other words, very few of you know people who make stuff, right? Guess what? How many of you have notepads right now? Raise them up. How many of you have pens in your hand? Raise them up. How many of you have cell phones? Raise them up. How many of you have perfume and cologne in your purse and bags? Raise them up. How many of you have shoes on your feet? Raise them up. How many of you have clothes on your back? Keep them on. The point is, somebody else has done what? Made that stuff. And we don't make anything. Okay? So what I'm trying to get you to understand is that these two nonprofit ventures, organizations have started for-profit income earning ventures. All right. Now, what's the third? What's the third? Say it again. Okay. In 2006, there was a guy from Mississippi who had spent 12 years in Alabama and was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at that time. It was on the board of directors of Legacy Bank. Legacy Bank at that time was the 13th largest African-American owned bank in the country, and it was female owned. One of the things that happened with that bank being perhaps not only the largest minority-owned bank in the city of Milwaukee, but being a great corporate citizen, that bank started a foundation, which was called the Legacy Foundation. This certain person from Cleveland, Mississippi, spent 12 years at Auburn University in Alabama, was that foundation's first president. But wasn't that because I was the president of the foundation, but the idea for the foundation is what I created. And so here you go with the third example of a business entity having social responsibility. The reason the foundation was created was because we realized that there were people in Milwaukee who had great ideas to start the kind of enterprising program that you talked about, great ideas to do great things in one of the worst zip codes in America, people who just needed some support, people who needed to be able to share their ideas with others who were in finance, in banking, and in terms of community and economic development. Someone that would just give them a fair chance of getting constructive feedback and criticism based on the great ideas that they had. That was the purpose of the foundation, to allow people to share their ideas and for us to financially support those ideas. It is nothing more to make your heart feel good than to go to someone's office and you see a $50,000 check sitting on their wall. That $50,000 check went to Sharp Sharp Literacy Incorporated. Sharp is a nonprofit organization in Milwaukee that uses literacy as a way to be able to help and shape the minds of young people, but using literacy in terms of visual, being able to ask little bitty kids, what does that painting look like? Do you know there are some kids that have never been to an art museum in their life? Never been to an art museum in their life. I got some babies in Milwaukee who have never been to Lake Michigan to see the lake. It's right there. Never come out of their community to see the lake. And that's almost sad that these babies haven't had those kind of opportunities. But this organization is about making sure that reading comprehension and the ability to use art as a way to help increase the literacy of young babies. There's a $50,000 check sitting on their wall. Guess who it came from? The Legacy Foundation. No, it didn't come from me. It came from the Legacy Foundation. So you take a business ownership, a business, and take their social responsibility, and you can create social entrepreneurship. Did everybody get those examples? See, what I wanted to do, this was not an opportunity for Grinnell to brag about this. No. Please don't ever take it like that. What I wanted to do, see, sometimes people speak to you, and all they do is talking about ideas and theory. My life is work. I can share that with you. So when I share something with you, I'm sharing with you real life examples. Okay? So you can see what I've done through yourself at some point in time. Now, this is what I want you to do, because we got a little bit of time now. 1, 2. This is group 1. This is group 2. Group 3. Group 4. Group 5. Group 6. Now what I want you all to do, for the next 5 minutes, I want you to convene. I know it's going to get a little loud and noisy in here, but I want you all to talk about what problem in the world would you like to solve? What problem in the world would you like to solve?